Oh, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Big John here.
Yeah.
Hiya, Mum. My mum wants to say hello. Mum, wave at the camera. Oh, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Big John here. Mum, wave at the camera. Here, look, wave to that camera there, Mum. No? No.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Oh, shit, I didn't even have my camera on me, Mum. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Anne-Marie's not coming on. She wants to leave it till after elections, which is fair enough because we can't go out. She can't go out campaigning. She's got to do everything online and all that. And I know she did some streams last night and she's got a lot on. But I said that's fine. We'll have her on another time. We'll discuss a bit more. But I'm going to play this 30-minute video of Anne-Marie Waters talking about her experiences in Barrow 4 years ago. Now, before I want to get into that, I just want to mention one thing. It's today, this week, will be the 20th year. This week, it's 20 years since Gavin Opley was kicked to death in the Glodick area of Oldham. I'll just get the... jury clear youth of murder. That's what it says. And it's 20 years. And this was a pivotal time in change in my, what I believed in, my behaviour, my views and stuff like that. And I mean, I guess I probably always would have been a nationalist at heart. Always believe in Britain, support the armed forces. All that comes naturally. But yeah, so it was a pivotal time in my life. And another pivotal time in my life were about 10 years ago. And more than 10 years ago, it'd be about 12 years ago. And I worked with a guy in Yorkshire. And there was him and his missus and one child, a daughter. And I remember, because I'd recently moved up, at the Christmas, I wasn't coming down to Oldham. I was staying up there, and I was coming to Oldham in the new year to see my mum and that. So this guy and his missus invited me to their house, and I had Christmas dinner with him, his missus, some in-laws, a couple of other relatives, and I worked with a guy. So this is for about 2-3 years, and then in between this time, I didn't see him for a period of a year. Went working somewhere else. So he's come back. And then he just come up to my cabin. I had a cabin on me where I worked, a little small cabin, and it had all my equipment in, my valeting equipment and all that. And he come in to the cabin, sat down, and just said that evening, Mank, Dave, everyone else, his daughter had been abused. So I said, what do you mean? How's this? I met your daughter. What's up with you and the missus? Well, they'd had a breakup. And his missus moved to South Yorkshire. So it's about, we're talking now 2008, I think, something like that, 2009. His missus moved to South Yorkshire with the daughter. But he's still seen his daughter. He picked her up every weekend and stuff like that. Spent money on her and all this. They had a pretty good thing like that. But the breakup had affected the daughter, which made her vulnerable. And then she ended up getting abused. And it wasn't a rape gang. It was a rapist. And he told me that nobody was listening to him. And I went, what do you mean no one's listening to it? The police have got to listen to you on this. No, they're not, John. You are. So after that, I asked him that when he had to go to South Yorkshire or anything like that, if could I go with him? And, you know, just support him. Because I knew him and his wife. I'd met their parents. So it's not like I'm just a stranger. All these people knew me. and no one would listen to him. He was getting threatened off the police. He tried to go. The wife tried to go to like local councils. Nobody would listen to these people, and that was a big wake up call for me. Now, when I looked more into it, and then a couple of years after that, the Jay's report coming out into Rotherham, that came official 2014 or a bit earlier than that, to 12 or 14. And good evening, Rita. Good evening, Craig. Good evening, Brett, everyone. Thank you very much. My mum's in. When I've finished with this video, I'll get my mum on. You can say hello, can't you, mum?
Hello.
Hello. Oh, she tried to. Hello. So yeah, it's and
Awful.
it was nothing to do. Of course, the people who did this weren't English. They were Pakistani. No, he was Pakistani, and they ended up having a court case, and it all ended up getting sorted out. But he don't say nothing about it. He didn't want no one to know about it or anything like that. And I've never really said anything. Just give Thingies a bit of a view on the particular case. I moved back to Oldham, but the case ended up getting prosecuted. The person ended up getting prosecuted about 4 years after it happened, or 5 years after it happened, something like that. I don't know the exact years. I'm just doing a rough. So it's a big opener to me. And then I was looking into, obviously I was in disgust with the Labour Council, and I would stop voting Labour in Oldham anyway, and I'd seen what was coming. And then the Jay's report come out, looked into the council and how politically correct they were. How in threatening, intimidation, bullying, sexism, this goes on in Labour councils, but more than you might think. It goes on a little bit. It goes on a lot more than what you think. And so my pure, not hatred, my pure anti-Labour stance has come from Oldham and that particular incident. And so there's always been people speaking out, and you've had Tommy speaking out against radical Islam, but Tommy's not a politician and he hasn't studied the law, right? There is one person who, above all else right now, is premier in talking about the Labour Party, law, and the rape gangs, and that's Anne-Marie Waters. If you want to refute me, you bring up someone now who's active as good as her. Now, in the video you're listening to, she'll tell you how far she went doing law and what she did, all right? And the video's about Amy Fenton, the police, another journalist who she doesn't mention. She don't mention any victims' names or anything like that. She don't mention anything to do with who did the crimes or anything. And she calls out Amy Fenton for being a liar, and Amy threatening Anne-Marie Waters with words like she knew the law. Honestly, when you listen to the video, you'll get everything that's going. And this is what we have to put up with the media and stuff like that. And obviously, since the stuff come out in Barrow, besides lack of action of the police and the councils and whoever, the authorities up there, we've had the lefties off Twitter and that trolling the people who are standing up for these people, like Craig, Jason, and Billy. And known Billy now like 3 years. And again, this is another thing. If you want to come and argue with me over people like Billy Howarth, Craig, and Jason, you by all means you can try. But these guys are doing things all the time. It's more than the rest of your bums are doing. It's more. I mean, I do go out and campaign and all that lot, but they're getting abuse off these trolls. Jason and Craig own a business, so their business can be under threat off these kind of people. So for the past year, they've held down. For the past year, they've been fighting against the trolls, and then Billy's been trying to get things moving with the police and all that in Barrow, and they've had to put up with these guys. Now, Don Ron Joe is off Twitter, and I think I got him banned because it come up on one of my posts, but he's still been attacking all the others. And if you're well aware of Billy Howarth's posts, on Facebook and that. He's put out details of who these people are. During the show, I'll get some of the details up, and you can look at the post yourself, and you can look at what Billy's saying. But big up to the guys in Barrow and Billy, because I couldn't have took all that. I can't take that. That's why I'm silent. I will argue a little bit, but I'm not one for fighting or going down that route of trolling. I can't do that, me. I ain't got enough time on my hands, and I've got to look after my mum anyway. But yeah, big up the guys in Barrow and Billy and that in Rochdale. So we called these trolls out now. And these trolls, this is what winds me up most. This is what infuriates me more than anything. They've been trying to shame the victims because the victims come forward. They've been trying to have a go at victims' families. This is what I'm being told. And this is what it says on the post. And, you know, none of us, as nationalists or who are in here who know me, we're not standing for that kind of thing. We're sick of this bullying attitude against victims. Anne-Marie talks about it. At the end of a video, what she says is they don't give a damn about those girls, and they don't. And so these lefty trolls are trolling, trying to get the shame the girls or trying to attack the victims. And, you know, we're not standing for it. We have to tell you lefties, we're not standing for that. And if it comes down to physical, I'll definitely get physical with any of you over that. And I mean, if I ever found out and gone meeting that Don Ron Jovi, there would be fucking sparks flying, I tell you. But anyway, so that's what we've had to put up with, and that's what they've had to put up with for a year. So, and everyone's come through it. Nobody's in jail. No one's in jail. As far as I know, Elliot is out and all that. I don't know anything else about the case. Yes, Mum. Are you waving at me? Star Trek, Mum, innit? Star Trek's on. That's what you're pointing at the telly for.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. Me mum, she knows me well. The old version of Star Trek comes on, so she got me attention and pointed at the telly because she knows I love Star Trek. She might have Alzheimer's, but she does remember the important things. That's me mum for you. She's laughing as well. So yeah, we're not having it. We're not having victims attacked by trolls. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable, and I don't give a shit, me, what if police or anyone are listening or anything, because there'd be blood and guts if I ever come across any of these guys. I don't go looking for them. Yeah. I never have done, but if I ever bumped into them somewhere, there would be blood and guts, and I'm not having it. You can arrest me, lock me up, but if you're going to attack victims and try and intimidate the families and things like that, we're not having you. We're not having you. It's not having you. As members of the public, we have rights. And we'll defend these kind of against these kind of people if we have to. It's simple as, honestly. So that's what it's all about. Andy Red Volvo, I hope you're all right. That's what it's all about, and we're not having it. And this video, Anne-Marie Waters does, she calls out Amy Fenton for being a liar. She calls out the police for passing information to Amy Fenton about she contacting the police. She's got it all on record and she's got emails. If she'd done anything illegal, she'd have been arrested, Anne-Marie Ward, but she hasn't. Everything she's done is legal. She knows the law, honestly. And again, if I want to pick somebody right now who's active, and it's Anne-Marie Waters, law, Labour Party, rape gangs. There isn't anybody more knowledgeable about these things. I mean, she studied law. She was a member of the Labour Party and a Labour Party activist for so many years. And she's very knowledgeable on Islam. You know what I mean? So it's a good thing. So anyway, going ahead, let's get on with the video. I hope, just let me know if everyone can hear it. I'm streaming live to D-Live. I'm trying to.
I shall get on to those very soon. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Barrow Farms. Now, the social media has been alight over the last.
Can everyone hear that? Can everyone hear it?
I think it is.
Right, good stuff, good stuff. I'll continue.
Last few days. It was around since about Thursday or Friday.
One sec. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Right. I'm working on it. Here we go. Let me know if you can hear.
Justice and making false allegations of rape. And the police statement on this was that they have a robust investigation with the words they used, carried out a robust investigation into this, and could find no evidence of that kind of crime. So basically, Asian men.
Right, I'm starting it again. Right, is the sound, or was the sound on, yeah? Right.
Thank you. I shall get on to those very soon. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Barrow and Furness. Now, the social media has been alight over the last few days. It was around since about Thursday or Friday. Since a young woman in Barrow and Furness posted photographs of herself online and said that she had suffered a long time of rape and abuse at the hands of what she describes as Pakistani men in Barrow and Furness. The police, she has been arrested. She's currently in jail. She's waiting. She's been held on remand to face a magistrate in June. And there is absolute uproar about this. She's accused of perverting the course of justice and making false allegations of rape. And the police statement on this was that they have a robust investigation with the words they used, carried out a robust investigation into this, and could find no evidence of that kind of crime. So basically, Asian Muslim men.
So, the police cannot find no sign of this grooming gang thing. We all know that this is what they've said. This is what the police have said initially in Barrow.
I don't know.
Yes, Mum. What's up?
I mean, I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? No, you don't know. It's for me to know, Mum.
Yeah.
So the police have already admitted this. We know this. This is what they said initially, that there is no sign of this thing. I'll continue on.
Active. So the kind of gangs that we see and that we are notorious in Rotherham, etc., and elsewhere. But there's no evidence of the presence of such gangs in Barrow and Furness. I want to take you back to 4 years ago, and I'll recount the story as best I can. I received an email from a supporter, and just to remind you again, folks, so I can share. I received an email from a supporter, and she told me that friends of her family, she's friends with a family essentially, and their daughter had come home from school, and said that she and her friend had been followed by a group of men that she described as Turkish looking. They shouted out the window at the girls to get in the car. They were initially one car, and then it became two cars, shouting out the window at them. Also, that they knew their names, and the girl in question wondered if they hadn't been, this is what she pondered to me, if they hadn't been looking at girls on Facebook. That was just her suggestion as to why he might have known her name. She insisted she'd never seen any of these men before. So her friend was with her, and the two girls corroborated this story. And they took photographs of the cars, and having gotten home from school, told their parents. The parents phoned the police and told the police about it. This was in August, I think the 8th, 9th of August. I received this message in December, telling me that the girls hadn't heard back yet from the police. So it happened in August. December, they hadn't yet heard back from the police, despite chasing it several times during that time. So I went up there. I went up to Barrow, and I met the girl in question. I went to her home. I met her family. Perfectly lovely people, very worried about being perceived as racist. There was no sort of underlying far right going on here, as press seems to suggest every accusation like this is driven by. And I thoroughly believed her. I had absolutely no reason not to believe her. Everything she said to me rang true. And as this series of events went on, I discovered, in fact, that the things she had told me were confirmed by other people. And as in the further it went on, the more I realized that this girl was telling me the truth. So I wrote her story. I wrote what she told me. I wrote her opinion, which is also what she told me, that she believes she's not the only girl in her school that this has happened to. I didn't relate it to any other case. I didn't know of any other case. I merely said what she had told me, what her view was. I didn't name any individual as a perpetrator. I didn't name any individual police officers as having committed any wrongdoing. I told her story. And this is part of the reason I know she was telling me the truth. One thing she told me was that a local journalist, she gave me his name, had been in touch with the police about this, and the police told him that she wanted to drop the case, and that is why they didn't follow up on it. Now, she insisted to me that this wasn't true. In no way had she told the police she wanted to drop the case. So given that she had told me that, I contacted the reporter that she mentioned. In other words, to confirm that he had asked the police about this case, and the police told him she wanted to drop it. I wrote to that journalist and asked him to confirm that what she had said was true. He wrote back very quickly and confirmed that what she had said was true. He did. The police did tell him that she had decided to drop the case. So I knew, again, for the little bit of evidence for me, that this girl was telling me the truth. I knew in my gut. Anyway. So I published the story. It was published on Breitbart, and I put it on my own website, amory-waters.org, which is now out of use. Having published this, and this is all perfectly lawful, by the way, I didn't name anyone, I didn't accuse anyone, I merely told her story. I contacted the police for their side of the story, and I contacted the journalist she named to me to confirm that this was true, and he did confirm it. So I wrote a perfectly lawful story for Breitbart. On the publication of this, and this might be a little bit of a pain, but bear with me. I'm conscious of the time, but do bear with me. And I haven't thought about this for a long time, but I'm kind of pleased to get the opportunity to make this public, because it'll demonstrate to you what the media are actually like.
Right, I just want to pause it a minute. Right, where are you gone now? Right, Mr. Mr. Blood and Braces, sir. Muslim, Muslim, Muslim. John Lawrence Show, better than this. Talk with Mark and Laura. I don't understand what you mean. It's not about Muslim. I'm trying to focus on Amy Fenton, who is a liar, and honestly, the things that other people suspect her of doing is awful stuff. And of course, she's a cocaine user and a convicted cocaine user. Yet she will threaten other people and use her stance that she's part of the media to get her own way. When James got done for that Lizzie Deardrum thing, unity with reporters. Well, tell the fucking truth then. Tell the truth, Amy. Don't lie and don't threaten people with your lies and your venom. You have to tell the truth, then you might get some respect. This is what I'm going on about. I've had this done to me by Northwest Tonight, by Katie Razzle, implying that I'm something that I'm not, and not putting all the stuff up. So I'm very conscious, mate, of this thing. And we can worry about everything else, but we have to worry about the media. The media is everyone's enemy. This is what I'm going down. I'm not even bothered about the issue of Muslim. It's irrelevant in this case. We're calling out the police for passing on information, passing on Anne-Marie's details, or letting a reporter know that Anne-Marie Waters has contacted them over something when they shouldn't have been doing. Amy Fenton is a liar. And she's proving it here as well, right? This is what I'm on about. I'm not interested in if they pray 5 times a day. I don't give a shit about their book, the Quran. I'm just focusing on the media and the police. Please, just take me on that, please. But let's carry on. Let's carry on.
So the person in question who wrote to me after this was published, I had an email from Amy Fenton. And she is the senior reporter in the area for the Northwest Evening News. Northwest Evening Mail. Yes, Northwest Evening Mail. Okay. So she's the chief reporter there, and she's based in Barrow. And this is, after I published, this is the email she sent me. She wrote, in response to the claims you have made in your blog post and on Twitter about police in Barrow covering up Asian grooming gangs, I have a number of questions for you to assist in an article I'm writing. I doubt very much she was writing an article. Anyway, as the journalist who reported on the approximately 8 incidences of children claiming to have been approached by a man/men in a car in Barrow during August-September, your post and email to police reads very much like you, or Miss, the person who told me about the story, is assuming that the reports subsequent to Miss, the girl in question, her complaint are somehow similar. Now, in a roundabout way, what a fantastic writer. In a roundabout way, what she's saying is that I had suggested in my article that that the girls, I'm going to call her Michelle, that Michelle's complaint to me was somehow linked to other complaints which she had covered. I did nothing of the kind. I didn't mention other complaints. I simply said that she told me that she believed other girls had experienced the same thing. I didn't mention other complaints. So first off, she's wrong. She continues, having interviewed a number of the parents and children involved in those subsequent reports, which I knew nothing about and said nothing about, I can confirm that the men said to be involved were all described as white. Now, let's get this. Let's think about this for a second. This is the chief reporter for the main local paper in Barrow. She has read an article written by me in which I describe 2 young girls followed home by groups of men in cars shouting obscenities and threats out the window at them. Wouldn't you think that a journalist would want to know more? Wouldn't you think that would be her starting point? Wouldn't you think if she's going to write to me about it, she would write to me saying, what's going on? I want to get to the bottom of this. If she has had to wait 3 months for a response from the police on a very serious allegation, I want to know what's going on. I'm the local journalist. I will stand for the truth. I want to get to the bottom of this. No. She wrote to me to make sure I knew that the rapist she investigates are white. That's her priority. Not to find out whether what this girl is saying is true, but to make sure everyone knows that white people rape too, you know.
Right. So I'll just stop it there.
Yeah.
And white people rape too. How many times it has been said to you lot in the chat that by other people when you've gone on about grooming gangs or something, or something to do with someone else of a different colour or anything? How many times do people always throw that in? It's a typical like lefty liberal thing that they do, and that reporter is good at doing it. That's all I can say. That's all I can say.
Well, I don't know.
So yeah, so Mum, are you trying to talk? Are you trying to talk? Say something then. Say hello to everyone. Do you? Hello? No, it's all right, Mum. Just speak into that. Just say hello. Go on.
Hello.
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 Oh, my mum belting out one there. Belting out one. Oh. Still got a bit of a voice, she has. And she can still whistle as well, can't you, Mum, when you get round to it? So it's the same thing we've seen over and over again. It's been said to me. It's been said to everyone in the chat. Everyone has heard this. So she'd go in there. And the way she suggested that Anne-Marie was linking it to these other cases, which she didn't. This is another tactic that these liberal media will use.
Are you racist? Absolutely unbelievable. Then she goes on. Therefore, for you to suggest that this is a catalogue of incidents, I didn't. As you put it, Asian men in gangs sexually harassing girls. Yes, that's what happened. Is inaccurate. No, it isn't. No, it isn't inaccurate. That's exactly what I described. Here she goes on. Only one and possibly two of the entirety of the complaints involved a description of men who are Asian or non-white. Once again, she's talking about cases I haven't mentioned. She's talking about the entirety of the complaints. What complaints? I didn't mention other complaints. I told this girl's story. That's all. She goes on. The remaining 8 ranged from an elderly man in his 60s, a young man with a funny earring, 2 men and a dog, and so on. I'm aware of at least one which was actually proven to be a false report. Make sure you get that in there. Can you please clarify, therefore, why you were linking these with regards to your belief that Asian men are attempting to kidnap, abuse girls in Barrow? Again, I'm not. As a legally, now this bit I love. As a legally qualified.
This is the best bit. This is the best bit of all of the kind of things that reporters will say to make you fear them, right? So Anne-Marie Waters goes into really good detail here about it.
And experienced journalist and an impartial observer with regards to your complaint towards the police, I find your post highly irresponsible. As a legally qualified, you see, this is what you get. People like this think that people like me are idiots, and they think if they pretend to be qualified at something or they throw in a few big words, I will just simply pick my knuckles up off the ground, get too scared of those big words, and run for the hills. So you're legally qualified. Well, Amy, what legal qualification do you have? I have a degree in law. I did the postgraduate LPC, which is when you finished your law degree, you split. You either do the LPC to become a solicitor, or you do the BBC to become a barrister. So I have a law degree, an LPC, and then I did about 2 years of clerking for family and criminal law around the Central Court, the courts of Central London, including the Old Bailey, which was fantastic. I worked for the government legal service for about a year. So those are my legal qualifications. Amy, what are yours? I'd be very, very interested to know.
So Amy hasn't got any legal qualifications that I know of. You know what I mean? And again, the use of them words to people who don't know is very intimidating. It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I come up to you and I said, listen, I'm an expert in the law, and you're going to think, whoa, you know, like, if he knows the law, I better be careful and stuff like that. Honestly, and it goes to show that we do need to learn a bit ourselves. We do not learn about common law, the rights of the public man, of the individual, of the man, and then learn basic law things like no one can stop you filming in a public place. You've heard me say it loads of times to people. You know what I mean? And I've been approached by police who've told me to stop filming, and I've refused to because I'm in a public place and I know my rights. So there's plenty of things you can do. So that Amy is good at doing stuff like that. She's not only tried it with Anne-Marie Waters, she's done this with people in Barrow. This is what this Amy has done with people in Barrow. And we're not having it. If the media want respect for us, then they need to stop being biased. They need to be impartial, and they need to tell the truth. Otherwise, we're never going to finger Lizzie Deidre and fuck you. Amy Fenton, honestly, you're all pieces of shit. And don't think that because you get away with what you do, we can't criticise you. No, we can do. That's why I went to town on Amy Fenton, because I know what she's like. I've seen the same thing over and over again throughout the country in different areas with these reporters. Myself, I've physically seen it, and it's happened to me. So, yeah, I have got an issue with her, right? Anne-Marie Watts has got a bigger issue with her. She's tried threatening Anne-Marie with a law word. That is so laughable. It's unbelievable. And when I go back to the beginning, doesn't matter what you think of Anne-Marie. She goes on about Islam. If you're not bothered, it don't matter. She studied law. She got to LPC and a BBC, which is, you know, like, she knows the law. She knows how to present evidence. She knows how to get evidence together. She knows not what to say. She knows what to say. And we've got a screwy little cocaine snorting reporter having a go at her over the law. Honestly, Amy Fenton, you liberal snowflakes really need to, like, get a life. You know what I mean? Get a life. And things that you said to do with the law, don't threaten me. When you put on Twitter, Amy Fenton, that you've contacted Cumbria Police, I phoned them up myself. Got an email and sent the guy the link to the video. All right, that's what I did. They haven't come round and arrested me because I know my rights and I didn't do anything wrong. It's just your trolls are trying to make it look like I did something wrong. And another thing, right? I had an issue with unregistered schools, and there was 1,500 ultra-Orthodox Jews not getting taught in school. And if people know Ambrosine, who's Busker's Jewish bum buddy, whatever, she said on a live stream, she said it was true. She said that did happen, and then schools have been shut down. And that's what I talked about. I said I don't want unregistered schools. Now the lefties have gone online. Oh, these are religious people. What? He's a Nazi. Well, no, I'm not. They're unregistered schools, and if they're unregistered, they need to be shut down. What don't you understand about unregistered? What don't people understand about unregistered? They need to be registered schools. To have a proper school, it needs to be registered. It needs to be something to do with Ofsted. And if it isn't, you're getting shut down. It don't matter what kind of school you are. So they made it out that I was a Nazi because I've got an issue with unregistered faith schools. And I didn't just mention these Jewish schools. There was Muslim schools, and there is a small percentage of extreme Christian, but it is a small percentage compared to the other two. And I've got an issue with that in England. If other people haven't got an issue with that in England, go somewhere else then, because I have. But anyway, so let's carry on with the video.
That aside, I am a mother myself, and had I uncovered any suggestion that any of these incidents back in August, September were linked, I never said they were linked. Or B, there was evidence of an Asian gang patrolling the streets trying to kidnap children, I can assure you it would not have been dropped and most certainly not covered up by myself. Now, this is a fascinating paragraph. I will carry on a bit later if I go over. if there was evidence of an Asian gang patrolling the streets, okay, let's clear a couple of things up here. And I know that Amy Fenton, given her legal qualifications, won't need to be told this, but just let's clear it up anyway. Evidence is a body of information. This is a criminal setting. Evidence is a body of information which is put towards a jury, who will then decide independently, based upon the evidence put to them, whether or not they believe that the prosecution in a criminal scene, which the prosecution must prove it, the defense only has to inject reasonable doubt, it's the prosecution that must prove their case. So the prosecution presents the evidence to the jury, a body of evidence, on which the jury decides whether or not to find the person guilty or not guilty. Now, I say body of evidence because that's different from the pieces of evidence which collectively make up the body of evidence. Evidence in a criminal setting includes witness testimony, i.e., witness testimony counts as a piece of evidence to be placed within a body of evidence. A corroborated witness testimony is also evidence which will form part of the body of evidence to be put to the jury. So let me explain. A witness testimony is evidence. A corroborated witness testimony is evidence. And given your legal qualifications, no doubt you know that perfectly well. So given that there was a corroborated story from two young girls, there were photographs, also evidence. There were photographs. You say there was no evidence. There was two witness statements and photographs. What you ought to be doing if you were a journalist is looking at that evidence and trying to uncover the truth. But instead, you are too busy writing to me to tell me that white men rape too. So I wrote back to her. I was told by, I won't name her, who described the men as being like Turks. It was she who told me they were not white. In other words, it was her witness testimony. What is actually irresponsible is not to tell the truth. In other words, if a witness tells you that the men in the car are, quote, like Turks, you should report that and not either ignore it or pretend that they were white. I did not suggest, I went on to tell her, nor do I suggest that all reports of such incidents involve Asian men. Your entire email to me is based on a false premise. I never said that. It is you who made this assumption. She did. I also wrote about the lack of police response. The police hadn't got back to her by December. And again, because this is what I was told, this is perfectly lawful journalism. She wrote back, your evidence, therefore, that there is a gang patrolling Barrow is based on one incident, and your statement that police ignore the report is reported as facts, even though the police say this is not true. First, no, the police did not say it wasn't true. The police didn't actually deny it at all. I will show you what the police said to me. Now, she's saying, I wrote this report based on one incident and your statement that police... No, I based it on two witness statements and photographs. That's what I based it on. That's called evidence, Amy. She goes on, also, I understand you were sent on Monday a response from Cumbria Police. Do you mind asking why this was not used in your blog post? Now, it's a little bit of a glitch in this bit. I did write to the police, and they did write back to me, and as soon as they did, I added their response to the website. But I'll show you in a minute that in any case, they didn't deny it. They didn't deny any of it. She writes, Peter Story is a colleague of mine. Now, Peter Story is the journalist that I contacted to confirm what Michelle had told me about the police telling him that she had asked them to drop the case. I know this is complicated. I do hope I'm being clear and that you're able to keep up. This is what she goes on. Peter Story is a colleague of mine, and having spoken to him today, he is incredibly concerned that his name is being used in your blog in such a way. So either she is lying or he is, because he wrote back to me, and I still have the email. I can show it to you right now, Amy. He wrote back to me. I copied and pasted what he told me into the article. So either you're lying in that you didn't speak to him that day, or he lied to you and said he didn't answer me back. He says the response you say he was given by police is not accurate. He's a liar. I still have the email from him. And by the way, This exchange between myself and Amy Fenton ended when I sent her the email from him confirming what the police had said. Nothing. Silence. Tumbleweed. End of game. They're both lying, or she's lying, or he's lying to her. She goes on. If your blog had been about an individual or easily identifiable individual forming part of a group, they might consider arguing that your accusations are in fact defamatory. Well, again, you're showing a rather loose grasp of things.
So the police have said that Michelle is the girl who Anne-Marie Waters is talking about, has told them to drop the thing. Right? So that's what she said, which she didn't do, right? And we think it's something to do, Anne-Marie Waters thinks it's something to do with Amy Fenton and that other guy. That's what they've said to the police, that it's going to get dropped or whatever. And then they dropped it. She's absolutely called them out. She's got all the evidence. She's got all the emails. And this is 4 years ago. This is 3-4 years ago. Now, I've only known about Amy Fenton past year. Craig and Jason have had to put up with her for years. So this is 4 years ago. So what else has she been doing in that 4 years? Right? And obviously there's cases going on in Barrow. So, and I haven't even mentioned, Anne-Marie Waters did not mention grooming gangs. Amy Fenton mentioned it. Anne-Marie Waters was talking about just 2 girls and their case. She never mentioned anything to do with any other cases or anything. She states that clearly in the thing. Let's listen to the last section.
Amy, but you understand that I wrote the article with defamation in mind. I know how to write in a non-defamatory way. It's because I have a law degree and actually studied to be a solicitor and worked in the legal system. And that was my legal qualification. So you're trying to blind me with your loose grasp of defamation law. Isn't going to work, because I wrote it knowing what defamation law is. So she finishes, as both Peter and myself have been embroiled in this as a result of our fair and accurate reporting, which has been misreported by you. Nope. I also have to question the inference anyone could make about our own personal feelings towards the police with regard to this incident. I don't care what your feelings are towards the police, and I don't care what the police think of you. He replied to that email. He told me that. I still have the email, and you know it perfectly well because I sent it to you. So I went back to her saying I hadn't heard from, because at that point I hadn't. And I quoted Peter's story exactly as he sent it to me. I will forward to you. So here's the last bit, I promise. Last bit. She wrote back, I don't doubt that's what they told you. So when I told her this is what the witnesses said, she wrote back saying, I don't doubt that's what they told you, but is it fair and reasonable to use a third-party quote without checking first with the individual who they claim to have made it? I did check first. I have the email in front of me. Surely that's similar to me publishing a story which claims, for example, Anne-Marie Waters is a murderer because someone told me you were. I don't know whether you are that bad at understanding how defamation law works, or you think I'm an idiot and you can just throw around any nonsense and make it sound like you know the law. But that's an absurd example. But here's the bit. I have receipt of the email you sent to the police and their response to you. Perhaps you'd like to check your spam folder in case it's there. Anyone see an issue? Why did the police send her my email? Why are they sending emails from me to the local journalist? What relationship is there between the police and the local journalist? I don't expect my emails to be sent to local journalists. What's going on here? Just how close is this relationship? But absolutely finally, I want to show you what the police sent to me. Basically, well, I'm not going to read it all because I've read out enough. But I asked them about the photographs that had been taken and why the family have not yet been contacted. The answer is the incident has been dealt with by local police in Barrow. And he also, by the way, he told me in the introduction that he has spoken to local police. And if anyone involved has further information, where they are invited to contact local CID. Now, I know that the lady who first reported this to me contacted the police, asked, she also had photographs, because the photographs were sent to her. She ran to the police, said, why don't you, I have the photographs, do you want to see them? They said they couldn't talk to members of the public about this. And how do I know that she's telling me the truth? Because that's what they're telling me as well. They're telling me in one breath to call the police and report anything, and then at another, we are not at liberty to discuss individuals. So any question I asked them was answered with, this incident has been dealt with. We are not at liberty to discuss this incident. This incident, all incidents are investigated, and should they come to light, they will of course be. At no point, actually, did they deny what I'd said in the article. At no point did they deny that she had been waiting 3 months for the police to contact her. At no point did they deny that they had told a journalist, who also confirmed it, that she decided to drop the case when she told me this is absolutely not true. Do you see the big picture here? Do you see the fuller picture here? Why, first of all, why are the police so pally with the local journalists that they're sending my emails on? Why did she have sight of my emails? And why, when she comes to me, is she coming with anger and antagonism and accusation? Why isn't she coming to me saying, I want the truth about this. Please tell me what you know. No, she comes to me to lie, to accuse me of lying, while she's lying through her teeth, and so is her friend, and then to remind me, or to tell me that there's no evidence for any gangs in Barrow and Furness. Yes, there is. I just told you about it. You don't want to know the evidence. This is what it is like. This is what it's like all the time with this stuff. Now, I don't know the girl, Ellie Williams, involved in this. I don't know her. I don't know the details of her case. I don't know if she's telling the truth or not. But I will say that I have experience of what it's like, of the cover-up that goes on with the media and the police. And just to finish, when the police wrote back to me, they couldn't but finish off by telling me it would be totally wrong to think that this behaviour is confined to any particular group of people, as the reports of the police feature a cross-section of descriptions of people of different ages and appearances, some on foot, some in vehicles. That's the priority. They don't give a damn about these girls. They don't give a damn whether what she says is true or not. What they care about is silencing people like me who bring these things for the public to see, and they care about the mantra. It's white men are most rapists. It's the same rubbish over and over again. And I say, I don't know this girl. I don't know whether she's telling the truth or not. But looking at the bruises on her body, to my mind, I can see hand marks on the bruises on her legs. To my mind, finger marks are clear on those bruises. I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll come back on a live stream and say, I was wrong. I've got egg on my face. I don't think that that's going to happen. Now, Maggie Oliver, the legendary Maggie Oliver, a woman who is responsible.
So Amy Fenton is getting information off the police when she shouldn't be. She's accusing, she's using words, she's threatening behavior. Now, if you didn't know the law, you might be intimidated by the stuff that she says. And we're not having it. And this all happened 4 years ago. It's nothing to do with what's going on. It's absolutely nothing to do with what's going on. This happened 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk to Anne-Marie about this video and let her say it. But we will another time. And it's nothing, it's not about Muslim or Islam. It's about what the police do. They're in conjunction with the media. They're telling the media things about you. Loads of people will tell me here now that the police, when people have been arrested, the police have let the lefties listen to details, personal details being given out. Loads of you have told me that. And we're not having it. We're not being treated like this. It's irrefutable. We're not having it. Yeah, Danny Jones Oaks police, right? There's no receipt for 300 quid. I haven't blocked you. One of the thing he has. And what's your problem, you scumbag? Right? If you've got a problem, come and find me. Right? In Oldham. And I live in Oldham Town Centre. Right? Tracy's documentary will be out. Evening, Angel. Tracy's documentary will be out sometime, whenever this year, whatever time it'll be out. And shut your mouth, you prick, yeah? You've got glasses on. You look like an idiot with your police hat on. So shut your mouth, you prick, yeah? So just block him off now, guys. Anyways, I've had enough of him, the scumbag. But yeah, so this whole thing was about showing you what the relationship that Amy Fenton's got with the police, why they're giving her information, the threatening kind of words she's using, as well as we've got the trolls trying to attack victims and victims' families and things like that to do with whatever. And I've got an issue with that. Evening, Monty, and so should everybody else have an issue with that. Doesn't matter if you like Anne-Marie Waters or For Britain or not. That's not why I had her on. I was talking about a specific incident. I'm not talking about Islam. And I never said that. You know, some of you lot are blind sometimes. Because, like, you might not agree with the For Britain part. You can't listen to other things that she says. And she's an expert on the law. Right? I'm not. If Mark Collette is versed in law and he's got as far as her, then I'll listen to him about law. But he hasn't. Tommy Robinson hasn't got anything to do. He doesn't study law. Has he got a diploma in law? Can someone tell me somebody who's a figurehead in the cause now, who's an expert on law? Come on, I'm not going to say nothing else until one of you lot show me a figure who's in the out now, who campaigns or who's in a political party on the right, who's studied as law as Anne-Marie Waters. If you can show me that person, I'll go and talk to them instead. But there isn't. The Labour Party, she was an activist in the Labour Party for years, so she knows it well. She knows the insides. She'll have worked with counsellors and things like that. And, of course, she's good on Islam. So that's why I wanted to talk to her, because of the snidiness, you know what I mean? Male reporter and police busted by Anne-Marie Waters, and she has done. She's not been arrested because she hasn't done nothing wrong. She's got all the evidence calling Amy Fenton a liar, and you know what I mean? Besides that, we know she takes cocaine. I mean, if I got done for use of cocaine, I would be all over the lefty papers and the front newspapers. Amy Fenton is what someone said to me. Yaha Snow said this. She's been dealt with and she's had a sentence or a fine, so you can drop it now. That's what someone said to me. No, I won't drop it. I won't drop it. No. This is a person who's taking cocaine, convicted of it, lying about things to do with crimes being committed. She's got some relationship with police where she gets information. These are the kind of scumbags that we don't need in our lives. Sorry, we don't need these kind of people. We don't. We shouldn't be. We should be more than that. We should be more than that. But anyway, but we will. I'm going to reschedule, and I will get Anne-Marie Waters on again, and. Cocaine driving, Fabia Brown. Driving while under the influence of cocaine. That was a charge, her initial charge. I think Jason and Craig would say that as well. So I hope those who can see a bit more, no matter what you think of Anne-Marie Waters, that video has been well put together. She's got the evidence and she's called them out to be liars, which we should all be aware of. And these are the kind of Katie Razzle, your Lizzie Deidre. They're all pieces of shit liars. They're awful people. They've not got. They're not going to look at things fair. They're just going to look at putting you down and stuff like that. There was a case. A woman is with a daughter in a child play place. One of them, they have the climbing frame on. She's turned round and her daughter is being attacked by two young lads. Yeah, bitten several times all over her face and that. And these young lads' mum went, "Oh, boys do that." And the young mother was a Somalian and the boys were Somalian. And what the media did, they started talking about the woman, the mother, saying that she was a bad mother because she turned her head and stuff like that. This is what they like, the lefty press, to try and draw away the attention that she got attacked by two animals. You know what I mean? And this is what they do. These are the kind of things they do. It's a bona fide case. I'll just see if I can just get the case up. Oh shit! Oh, right. Ooh, scared me then. I thought I'd just come off. In the article, Mum Becky claimed a little boy. Claimed there was two fucking boys. I'll put the case into the chat anyway, and you can look at it. But they did have a go at the woman, the media, and tried making her out to be a bad mother. I'll talk about the case another time, but it is true.
When was that?
Oh, ages ago, Mum. Mumsy, ages ago. There's Anne-Marie Waters calling Amy Fenton a liar, fake journalist, says she knows the law, threatening. This is throughout all the councils and media in the country. Same happened in Rotherham. Same happens in Telford, across Yorkshire, Manchester. It's happening in Oldham, where the local councillor is flatly denying things are going on. There's a massive case breaking in Oldham. A massive case breaking in Oldham soon. It's severe restrictions on, so I can't really discuss anything to do with the case. And I do know a little bit, but it's ongoing. And the councils and the media try to cover this up. They try to cover it up that, we're the ones in the fault and stuff like that. We're just not having it. I'm just not having it. Just not having it, me. So, Mum's good. Mum, are you all right? You all right?
Right.
Yeah, you're good. You can say hello. Are you all right, Mum? Yeah?
Yeah. I'm all right.
You're all right, yeah?
Yeah.
Are you going to have a drink of your lemon for us, Mum? Your lemon?
Yeah.
Remember, you have to drink a lot of water, Mum. Yeah? Do you remember? Well, have a drink for us then, please. And oh, yeah, so trolls as well. Trolls have been mentioning me, mum, and that I'm a cur and things like that. The only thing is, I'll beat you up when I find you if you ever come in contact with her. And I don't give a shit if the police hear me or anything. People are talking about my mum who has Alzheimer's and 84 and I care for her. Right? If you know what I mean? Now, it just goes to show that you're a lowlife, actually. And let me just say something. I'm going on the FNAT way, right? A lot of the FNAT said that, like, BAME people have low IQs. Now, if Real is involved in any of the spamming I have, then he must be a low IQ, because I've told people where I live. He only can attack my mum and can't give any. Danny Jones, Hawks Police, or Busker, there's nothing they can say that's like factual. They can't say, well, John went and supported the FNATs while they did something anti-Jewish. I've never done anything like that. I've not got a criminal record worth talking about. I did a bit of shit when I was younger, but what? So you must be low IQ then, Real. So I can really get with the FNATs when they do say that about people, because I mean, there's obvious things, and I wonder if anyone's talked to Arlene. I wonder about that money and asked her why she gave it me in first place, but probably not. But anyway, you must all be low IQ. Even the right wingers who are trolling me, you're all low IQ as well. The other week you put up that I lived at 97, whatever. I'm living in Oldham, and I have been for the past few months. For the past year, more or less, nearly. So you must be low IQ. You must be low IQ people if you're so thick that you can't work anything out. You know what I mean? So I can really get on the FNATs, when they say about low IQ people. And I am only winding you up a little bit there. But, anybody who's trolling me, you're all low IQs. Danny Jones, Hawks Police, you might think you're intelligent, but you're not. Busker, you're just a pawn of someone else. Real and all that lot, you've just been paid off. Honestly, and I don't troll people really online. I don't have time to do that, but you lot do. You know what I mean? It just shows the kind of character you are. It really does show the kind of character you are. So we called out the trolls. Let's get some stuff up about these trolls now that have been having a go at Billy and the others. Let me just check now. Just give me a minute. I'll get some. Oh, she's probably gone topping up, Carlos. Let's see what one of Billy's posts says here.
Oh.
No, I'm just talking about something on here, Mum.
Oh.
For the last 12 months, I've watched this man hide behind a fake profile, attacked my team, survivors, and their families. These are the lefties. Don Ron Jovi, or whatever his name is. He's off Twitter and all that lot. So how low can you go to attack survivors and families for speaking out? How low can you go? This is what we've got to put up with these lefty imbeciles. Lefty imbeciles that we have to deal with, and it's just ridiculous. And I mean we've met. I met a couple of girls, not in Barrow, around the area, Manchester and that, who have been abused and survivors and all that lot. And it's just awful that's what they have to put up with, because the lefties, even if someone went through a case, let's say there was a case went in Telford, against rapists, and even when the case is finished, trolls still attack the survivors and the victims, and they've done this all around the country. There's loads of factual evidence about this from around the country. That's what the left do. They attack the victims and all that. Even though the victims have had a case and people have gone to court, they still call them racist. Danny Jones, what you wasting your space for? What you wasting your breath for, mate? Honestly, what you've wasted pushing. Well, there is no proof of that though. And nothing, is the Danny. Come on. Danny Jones, Hawks Police 10. I don't even know if it's a real Danny Jones, Hawks Police, you prick. Oh, to do John Wild coked up on your PayPal donations. Really, really, mate. Have you? Obviously, you've got proof of that again. Yeah, you got coke. I don't do that stuff. I have done it when I was younger, but I don't do it. I'm very anti-class A,
He's been leaving.
actually. Are you trying to say something, Mum?
He's trying.
Try my best.
He's trying to be.
Me, I know, and I'm a good lad most of the time, aren't I?
Really? No. Has he feeling it?
But yeah, so Danny Jones, honestly, if you've like come to Oldham, actually, Danny, you've got my number. Message me on my number, and I'll tell you where. Well, no, I'll meet you in Oldham and come to Oldham. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it, and I'll tell you some truths that you don't know. But Danny, you've got my number. Message me. I think you have, or you might be able to get hold of me on Twitter. But message me, Danny. Come on. I dare you. I dare you. Message me and come up and we'll meet somewhere and we'll talk about, we'll discuss, and I'll tell you some home truths and stuff that like you won't know. But if you want to, that is. If not, shut your mouth and go away. But yeah, so thank you, everyone. We've got Kate Bubba Paris coming on soon. Kate is really good. She's
Is there Sue Phillips there?
no, there ain't no. She's loud, she's very knowledgeable, she talks well, and she's a good friend of ours now for a few years.
Right.
So Katie Bubba Paris will be on. That's Katie Fanning. She's run as councillors. I think she run as a UKIP candidate. She's been in the National Executive Committee of UKIP. She's been in her own troubles, but we're going to have Katie on soon, and I think a lot of the nationalists liked her when she were on James's channel, so that'll be upcoming. I will sort something out with Anne-Marie Waters again, and when I talk to her, I'm going to talk about again councils, the reporters, and the police. That's what I'll talk about her. I've got a load of stuff written down in my book that I was going to bring up with her, but I'm not going to bother now. We'll bring it up next time. But you watch the video and you get me gist of where I'm going. And we have to call these people out, even though they might feel threatened because you get a few naughty words said to them on Twitter. I don't condone any violence against any of the reporters, but it doesn't mean that we don't have the right to call them out. That's what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean that we don't have the right to do videos on them when they're clearly lying. So get over it, Amy. And when you go to when you're writing your book on persecution of reporters, make sure you tell them all how you've lied, you've threatened people with words, you've said a load of bullshit, and that you get information off the police when you shouldn't. Make sure you tell all that in your book when you do your book, Amy. Make sure you tell them how you portray people to be, like you did with Jason. Just make sure you do that. Make sure you tell them that you're politically correct and you're a liberal, and you'll shame victims and families and other people because you don't agree with their views. Just make sure, Amy, that you say all that.
Who are you? I'm your old widow, she said.
A few things I want to quickly mention. So I mentioned Gavin Opley. Big up to, I mean, again, Jason, Craig, and Billy have had loads of shit for a year, and they're still there, and developed things move around. So that's great stuff, and I'm just glad that these guys are on our side. We have to watch out for the reporters and stuff like that. They're never going to report what you think they're going to report. It's just never going to work like that. But we should be able to call them out as long as we don't threaten them with violence. And I'm not going to threaten any report with violence. I'm just going to make sure that they know that we will call them out, right? I'm not afraid of the police, neither. So other people in different positions might be, but I haven't. I'm not afraid of them. I know my basic rights, and it's up to me as a person not to be overly aggressive or end up fighting with anyone. But no, the media is going to be called out every time they mess around with us. So don't forget, there's a lot going on this year. There is no fella here, Mum. It's just me talking away, Mumsy. Have a drink of your juice, Mum, please. Remember, you need to drink a lot of water, don't you, Mum? Yeah. So sorry about that. So yeah. We just got to be able to call them out, and we will do. We will call them out every opportunity we have. So thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Sorry, Amory didn't come on, but I mean, the local elections is coming in May, and we can't even go out campaigning or anything. And I don't even know if we can go out door knocking or handing leaflets out because of this lockdown. So people are pretty, and if you live in an area, I live in Manchester because we're on tier 4. We can't go outside of the Manchester area. So how are you supposed to go to Yorkshire to campaigning or leafleting with somebody up there? So I can understand it's difficult, and a lot of things are going to Zoom and streaming and stuff like that. But anyway, I think that's it. Sure, there's something on tonight, 9 o'clock, that I was thinking about watching. Oh, Sir Tom Moore's died. Oh my God. Oh, sorry for the geezer. Sir Tom Moore, that guy who raised money for the National Health Service. That old soldier, Mum, he's passed away. Oh no, 100 and something.
I've been there for a long time.
Second, right? Yeah. So Active's on tonight with Tracy at 9 o'clock. So anybody in the chat, please come on at 9. Let's get some likes and shares on Active Stream with Tracy, please. I'm going to be on it. I'm going to be highly active in chat, and I want everyone else to come on and say hello and please like and subscribe. So that's next for tonight, yeah.
You'll have to be very nice.
I'll have to be very nice, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I am nice most of the time, Mum, Anna.
Yeah?
Yeah, I am, Anna. Mum, I am nice. Yes.
We'll see.
We'll see. Well, what do you mean we'll see? Mum, I am a nice person most of the time, Anna. Most of the time, yeah? Would you agree with that? Well, what do you mean, Mum? I'm the nicest person going. Mumsy, I'm the nicest person going, Anna. Very, 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 very nice.
Lucy, he's nice. And he's like, are you?
Mum, pass me Teddy. Pass me the Teddy. So, guys, one of my mum's little teddies, and it's G, and it's not Giorgio Beverly Hills it's from, but my dad was Granville with a G, so this is named Granville. This is named Granville. Isn't it, Mum? Our little Granville.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, I didn't know. There you go, Mumsy. I know, low Mumsy. My sister's funny. She comes in, and she sings to me. She says, "Mommy pat, mommy pat, mommy, mommy, mommy pat." Yeah, she does. When my mum's annoyed, she calls me a dickhead and goes like that when I talk about politics. That's my mum. That's what she does. And so our Trisha's that like funny with my mum. But it was good last night because like with Alzheimer's, it's obviously memory. And we've got a sister who lives in Peterborough, and she phones up sometimes. It's called Janice. And at first, my mum don't know who I'm talking about. But if we sat down with my mum and we go on about for 15, 20 minutes about Peterborough and what the things we used to do, and we used to travel down there, after a while, my mum will remember as well. And last night she said, we'd been talking, it was about 30 minutes into it, and she went, oh yeah, we must come down to Peterborough again, because we've travelled there loads of times in the past. So, I mean, that's what it is with Alzheimer's. Sometimes if you talk to them, keep talking about the same memory thing, they will remember it a little bit. But other than that, they don't. But it was good, because my sister in Peterborough hadn't heard my mum talking to her like that. My mum had been distant when she talking to her before. But there was 3 of us here. There was me and my sister, and then my other sister on the phone. And because we was really interacting with my mum, she remembered. So it was really good to see that last night. So it's interesting. It's interesting. But anyway, I'm on D Live. Remember, I'm not going to be on YouTube forever. They're going to end up taking me down. So I'll stream to D Live VK, and obviously my Facebook page and my profile. I'm going to try and get more. Need more subscribers on D Live, but I'll keep going. I'll keep going, and I'll keep going. Looks pretty good, the streams. It's very colourful as well, D Live. But that's it for now. Thank you very much for tuning in. I think I've said everything.
Thank you.
I would say she's more on a nationalist side, my mum, as in believing in Britain. You know what I mean? It was my mum. It was actually my mum who I recently, past few years, I've got my grandniece Shania, and she's 14 now. I taught her about the difference between goods that you get from China and stuff like that, cheaply made there, and pointed her out to more quality goods and like buying British. And it was my mum who's done that with me when we were younger, especially to do with meats and food and stuff like that. Because we live in Oldham, there's loads of farms around Oldham. So we used to visit these farms a lot when we were younger, getting a gist of how they work and stuff like that. And with my mum, a meats had to be good, fresh farm meats, locally sourced. And again, with other kinds of stuff, my mum would like support Britain, if you know what I mean. She used to give in to some world wildlife charities, but we stopped that. She clicked on it. She realised, and then she does things here. And in the winter, when she used to go in town in the winter, if any of the beggars or anything were around, my mum would go and get them something to eat or a drink and give it them. She'd never give them money, but she'd go and get them a pasty and stuff like that. So that's my mum. And obviously, the kind of things that you learn off your parents is what you learn off your parents. And I'm a lot like that. I'm not totally judgmental. I don't pull my face when I walk past someone with a hijab on or a burqa. I'm not like scowling or find it disgust. I'm very easygoing, me. I'll open the door in time for anybody, even if they don't say thank you. I don't just go, oh, you're welcome. I don't say things like that. I just open the door, me, and just be done with it. And stuff like that. And I obviously get a lot of stuff off my mum. My mum's brought us up, all us lot. She's a nurturing part of our family, although she did work, you know what I mean? And mum making the Sunday dinners and feeding us. Mum, you made the best Sunday dinners ever.
Oh.
You did.
Oh,
And
wow.
Christmas dinners, you made the best ever, Mum.
Oh, thank you.
You best ever. Oh, yeah, I know it well, yeah, Peter.
What's it? Oh.
Thank you, yeah, thank you, honestly, thank you, everyone. But yeah, so obviously I grow up with the things, and I'm not perfect, but the kind of person I am is off my mum and my dad. I'm not a nasty person. I'm not overly violent or anything like that. I can't be put in front of the lefties, but I'm not always too judgmental. And I'm not one who craves I want everything myself, mate. I'll make do with basic stuff if it'll help somebody else get better off. And I made a big sacrifice from cutting work, looking after my mum. Been a big, massive drop in money. I get a few quid on donations here and there, and it's enough to keep me going. Me StreamYard is upgraded. I can stream to 8 destinations. That costs money. Obviously, I've got a phone bill and things like that. But yeah, so I'll do all right. But anyway, I'm going. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Peter, I'll talk to you soon. Brett and everyone in the chat. Mank Dave, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for calling on, Marion. Robbie, MYNEW, Pat, sir. Thank you very much, Pat. Piper Dave. I hope it's been all right. Like I said, that video that I played, doesn't matter what you think of Anne-Marie Waters, that video is class, and she's called them all out. But thank you. And I'm off. Mum, say see ya. Say goodbye. You just talk. You can talk from there, Mum. You don't need to hold it.
And thank you very much.
Oh, my mum there saying thank you very much.
Well, you can just say what you can say.
Mum, you're a star. Right, thank you, guys. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, love you.
I love you too and all, Mum. Oh, wait, I want to get this... I want Billy's post out first. How do I get the link to that? Oh, I can't get the link off it. But anyway, thank you, everyone. Love you all.